bankruptcy phase. They think they have to wait 7
It's
years.
such a
They
lie.
think they can't do anything.
It's such a
Talk
lie.
to me.
And
How
it
does someone
cringes
get
my
out
soul.
of bankruptcy, the rut and embarrassment that they've already gone through bankruptcy?
There's nothing to be embarrassed about. So let me make this very clear. There's absolutely nothing to be embarrassed about a bankruptcy. A bankruptcy gives you a fresh start. It wipes the slate clean for you to start over.
Welcome to Black Wealth Weekly podcast, where you can find different guests being interviewed by me, Shaniqua Nicole, the Millennial Money Maven, every single week, where we will be breaking down how they got into their respective industries and are creating wealth for their families. You don't want to miss an episode, so hit the bell and tune in. What's up, family? I'm your girl, Shaniqua Nicole, the Millennial Money Maven. Welcome to this week's episode of Black Wealth Weekly, where I have a special guest for y'all. He's going to be dropping some credit gems on us later, but meet the king of credit. What's going on, King? How you feeling today?
I am good. I'm great to be here, even better now that I'm speaking to all of y'all. So
yes.
It's a privilege and a blessing to be here, and I'm truly happy that we're here.
Tell the people what's your name and what do you do?
So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Darraine Delevante. I'm your favorite consumer law expert, the credit hero. So what I do is I teach you how to repair, rebuild, and restore your own credit using consumer laws the right way, legally. And I also teach credit repair business owners how to scale their credit repair business to make an extra $50,000 to $100,000 per year.
Got you. So what is really the consumer law process all about? You know, everybody, there are so many different credit repair businesses and ideals out there. What does the consumer law facet entail?
So consumer law deals specifically with federal law. There's the Truth in Lending. There is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. There's the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. There is the there's a lot of laws that are in place for consumers, but a lot of people don't know these laws exist. So what I teach is awareness. I teach you how to use their words, master their words and their definitions, and use those same words to liberate yourself, to take your power back. Like, too long have people been just surviving off of bad credit. I was one of those people. And I paid for a 2007 Nissan Altima that had 75,000 miles on it. I paid $25,000 for it, not knowing, right? So I had a 18.90 interest rate on it, didn't know what it was or what it meant, and I had to get a cosigner because I wasn't eligible. So being constantly told no, the only thing left is to figure out how to get yeses. And that's when I turned to consumer law, and that's when I learned it. And now all those no's I turn into yeses.
Got you. I love that. And so you're also helping people do the same thing for themselves.
Absolutely. So there's two parts to it. So for your regular consumer that wants to just repair, rebuild, and restore their own credit, I teach them how to do that. But there's also the consumer that wants to learn that, but then they want to be the credit hero for their family. So those now I teach how to use the products in my university to go make your business, go be great. There's what? I think it's 390 million people in America. There's no way I can service all of them. So if I can have a credit hero in each part, sharing the message and sharing the awareness, I think that's a job well done.
Got you. I love that. And I must agree. I do feel that, you know, so often in our community, credit is just plagued as, you know, this thing that we need to stay away from.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, oh, cash is king, right? That's what our grandparents thought. They keeping the cash under the mattress. And, you know, that's literally what we're taught, is that cash is king. Debunk that myth for us, because I wholeheartedly believe that that's a myth.
So statistics show that the average person barely has between $1,000 and $5,000 in their bank account, right? Where in credit, I can go get approved right now for a $75,000 line of credit, or get funding in an hour for up to $250,000. So the velocity of creating wealth is limited if you're using your earned income to try and to create wealth. where versus you spend some time, fix your personal credit, and then once your personal credit is fixed, you then duplicate yourself. And how you do that is you become a personal guarantor, or a PG. Some people have heard of it before, some people have not, where you stand as security for the business. So now you're using your own credit profile, and you're duplicating yourself up to 5 or 10 times, 10 different LLCs. They all get funding. Now you're looking at anywhere from $1 million to $2 million worth of available credit.
So you're saying that me as an individual person, I can personally guarantee 10 LLCs?
Yes, you can.
And get them all
Run
funded.
a sequence, correct. It's called a sequence.
So talk to us about the sequence of getting this 100 to 200,000 dollars.
So when your profile is positioned correctly, right, you are able to now use your personal credit to stand security for business credit cards. Some you have to do it, some you don't. Right, but either
Which
way,
ones are better? Is there like one better than the other?
There's ones that give you 0% for 24 months. It's all different. It all depends on the type of lifestyle and the business that you want to do, because different credit cards have different perks for different things. Like an example would be American Express. There's a platinum, gold, and plum, right, as well as the green and the other ones, where a lot of people use the platinum because of the exclusivity that it gives you access to the Centurion Lounge and stuff like that, where the gold card now, it's used for 4 times the points for dining, for advertisements, for marketing. So different card have different purpose. Your plum card now is if you want to get some extra money for paying the card off early. The plum card gives you that type of benefit. So it's all about what you want to do and the type of businesses that you have.
Gotcha.
Now, when it comes to the duplication now of yourself, it's basically your personal credit profile is standing security, or you in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And basically you use the data points from that profile to fund the LLC. So you're in a sequence, you get the sequence, boom, it goes in the business name, you learn to liquidate the credit card, you turn credit into cash. That's one way. But when we go all the way back to the foundation, it's personal credit. People think that it's okay to build business credit and your personal credit goes to shit. Some people do it. I do not recommend it at all, because your personal credit, as defined by Congress, is your character, your general mode of living, your reputation, your credit worthiness. So when banks do soft pulls and they evaluate your personal credit, oftentimes if the personal credit is down, they will shut business accounts down.
Bank accounts.
Yeah, not bank accounts, but their credit cards.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
They will shut those down.
Yeah.
That is facts. So when it comes to consumer law and why consumer law is so important, there's a lot of people that's repairing their credit the wrong way. And there's a lot of credit repair business owners out there that don't know the right way to do it. So they tell people to do a FTC report, which you're claiming identity theft, but people don't comprehend what identity theft is and what identity theft means and what contributes to identity theft with consumer law.
So can I get in trouble for claiming identity theft if I don't have identity theft?
Then that's false information. You can get in trouble because no, that is fraud.
Right.
But if you don't comprehend the extent to which identity theft goes, you won't know how to get the deletion. See, people are going to say this doesn't belong to me, or I didn't do it, or stuff like that. And they know they did it because they can track your IP address and know that you did it from your computer. Well, they can't prove that it was you, but they can prove that a device that belonged to you did it.
Right.
Unless they somehow remotely access your camera and during the time of the application, they're able to see you, right? But when it comes to identity theft, there's a section of the law that speaks on it. Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
All right. I want you to look something up for me.
Let's see. What I'm looking at.
The first thing I want you to look up is 15 USC.
15
USC.
USC.
1681Q.
All in together?
Correct.
1681Q. All right. Congressional findings and statement purpose. What am I looking for?
You should be at
Obtaining
Q.
information under false
Correct.
pretenses. Okay.
So read what that says.
Any person who knowingly and willfully obtains information on a consumer from a consumer reporting agency under false pretenses shall be fined under Title 18, imprisoned for not more than 2 years, or both.
So it speaks about Title 18, right?
Yes.
Obtaining information under false pretenses. See, people think when you didn't apply for something, it means that that's the only way identity theft is. It's not. So now it told us to go to Title 18, right? So now I want us to go to 18 USC 1028A.
Okay, let's see. Repeat that. 18
USC
USC
1028A.
1028A. Y'all, he got me doing some work here. All right, this is aggravated identity theft.
Okay. Now read what it says.
Whoever during and in relation to any felony violation enumerated in subsection C knowingly transfers, possesses.
No, I want you to read that part very slowly.
Okay.
Knowingly transfers.
Knowingly transfers, possesses, or uses without lawful authority a means of identification of another person shall, in addition to punishment provided for such felony, be sentenced to a term of imprisonment or 2 years.
Good. So now we know what identity theft is. If someone possesses, uses, or transfers anything that can identify you without your permission or lawful authority, that is identity theft. That's their definition, right? So now when we go back to the consumer report, well, there's a section of the consumer report that speaks on permissible purpose. So now I want you to go to 15 USC 1681B.
Y'all, we in school right now.
That's how we learn.
Are
We
you
gotta
taking notes?
unlearn. See, the big thing is we need to forget what we think we know about credit. Like we need to unlearn certain things, the bad information that they taught us, and learn the truth. The truth is in their laws. They wrote it.
Right. So where are we going now?
We're going to 15 USC 1681B2. Should bring you to permissible purpose.
B2. Permissible purposes of consumer reports. Yep. You want me to read it?
Please go ahead.
All right. Subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other.
Under the following circumstances and no other. So it means if the conditions aren't met under here, there should be no furnishing of a consumer report, right?
Right.
All right. What does number 2 say?
Number 2 says, in accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to whom it relates.
Permission. So if you didn't give permission for an item to be furnished on your consumer report, someone knowingly used or possessed an identification of you without lawful authority.
Right. Written instructions.
And it needs to be what? Written instruction.
Right.
So now, most consumer reporting agencies enable identity theft. And a lot of people are going to say, Daraine, what do you mean by that? See, the consumer reporting agencies, they do not certify the permissible purpose document. They receive the information and they furnish it. There's a certification that must be done. Right? So 15 USC 1681 EE1 and EE2 speaks on...
Y'all get your notes. Get your notebooks.
It speaks on the certification that must be done.
Okay.
There needs to be a certification of the permissible purpose. And the person, because we know that person means corporation, right? The person must provide that written permissible purpose document that the consumer reporting agencies, aka credit bureaus do not exist. Please delete that from your mind. There is no such thing as a credit bureau. But before I digress, they must certify that I, Darraine Delevante, gave XYZ company, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, whatever, permission, written permission,
right,
to report that under credit. But they do not do it because they know 99% of people in America doesn't know it. And because they call
So let me ask
themselves
you this.
credit bureau.
Right. So when we, click the button and type our name in on these credit applications, are we giving written permission at that point? Because
Correct.
nobody reads the fine print.
Correct, you do. Some of it is in there. But there's 3 things that need to be given for written permission.
Okay.
Often in the contracts, because I've read a few of them, there's only one thing in there. So I want you to go to 15 USC 6802.
15 USC
6802.
6802.
Correct.
Awesome. Obligations with respect to disclosures of personal information.
Correct. So now the law protects the consumers. The consumers don't know. The law protects them because they don't study it. They don't know about it. So what the law is saying is, before a company or a person or a financial institution can share your information, there's disclosures that the consumer must get. And in these disclosures, there are 3 things that must conspicuously be disclosed to the consumer. So you can go ahead and read that part.
Is this notice requirements? Yeah. Except as otherwise provided in this subchapter, a financial institution may not directly or through any affiliate disclose to a non-affiliated third party any non-public personal information.
So let me break that part down because it might have gone over a lot of people's head.
Yeah.
There's affiliated and non-affiliated third party in that statement. So an affiliated party would be, I use this example all the time, SunTrust Bank. SunTrust Bank, I think they're now called Truist or whatever, right? So SunTrust or Truist, they own a company called Lightstream. That is common affiliation by ownership. They can share information. A consumer reporting agency, LexisNexis, TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax, those are non-affiliated third parties. They do not belong to that company.
Right.
So they're not affiliated by ownership or nothing. They are another company, non-affiliated third party.
Gotcha.
So now it's saying that what? Continue. Now that
It
we have
says that financial institution may not directly or through affiliate disclose non-affiliated third party any non-public personal information. So they can't give out any of my personal information to a company that's not affiliated with them.
Correct.
Got
Without giving you the disclosures, because the consumer, you have the right to say, yes, I want it reported, or no, I don't want it reported. Continue, you'll see.
Unless such financial institution provides or has provided to the consumer a notice that complies with section 6803 of this title. It looks like there's an opt-out option.
Opt-out, yep. Go right to opt-out. Go right to B.
B.
Opt-out.
All right, so opt-out. In general, a financial institution may not disclose non-public personal information to a non-affiliated third party unless such financial institution clearly and conspicuously discloses to the consumer in writing or in electronic form or other form permitted by the regulations prescribed under section 6804 of this title, that such information may be disclosed to such a third party. So I was not the best reader in school, so break that down for us. Okay. What did I just read?
Do you see A, B, and C?
Yes. You want me to go to B?
What does A say?
So that was A. So A is unless such financial institution clearly and conspicuously discloses to the consumer in writing or electronic form or another form that's permitted by the regulation.
All right. So conspicuous means it must be shown.
Okay.
It can't be in print where you're straining to see. It must be conspicuous, meaning easily and readily identifiable.
Okay.
Right? So now that's the first thing. So it
B.
must be conspicuous to the consumer. That's one.
Okay, then it says the consumer is given the opportunity before the time that such information is initially disclosed to direct that information not be disclosed to such third party. That's B, and C is...
So before we go to C, B. B is saying before they report it, they need to tell you,
right,
so you know, make a conscious decision as to do you want it reported or not.
Got it. And C says the consumer is given an explanation of how the consumer can exercise that non-disclosure option.
Correct. So if I decide not to have my information reported, they now need to tell me how I go about not having my information reported.
Gotcha.
Have you ever remembered getting any of these disclosures?
Never.
Nobody gets them.
And I have a bunch of inquiries right now I need to get off my credit. So what are we going to do?
Inquiries, we can talk about inquiries because a lot of people don't know you can get paid up to $1,000 per inquiry.
Oh.
See, what we just went over is how my students get student loans deleted. We just had like 11 student loans deleted about a week and a half ago. And $35,000 worth of charge-offs and a bankruptcy.
Wow. So I know a lot of people get stuck in that bankruptcy phase. They think they have to wait 7 years. They think they can't do anything.
It's such a lie.
Talk to me. How does someone get out of bankruptcy, the rut and embarrassment that they've already gone through bankruptcy?
There's nothing to be embarrassed about. So let me make this very clear. There's absolutely nothing to be embarrassed about a bankruptcy. A bankruptcy gives you a fresh start. It wipes the slate clean for you to start over. You can delete a bankruptcy off of your credit because the furnishing of a bankruptcy on your credit, first of all, is identity theft. That's one a lot of people don't know. So they'll claim public information, but it's really not, right? So that's identity theft because what does aggravated identity theft means? Any person that knowingly possesses, uses, or transfer any information that's personally identifiable to you without permission or without lawful authority.
Right.
So when we know this, now let's think. For a consumer reporting agency, which is what LexisNexis is, SageStream, and LCI, right? These companies report public information. Now, the law says that I have a right to privacy, 15 U.S.C. 1681A4. And in that 15 U.S.C. 1681, in the congressional findings, Congress says you have a right to privacy. What does the word confidentiality mean?
It means private?
Confidential. So when you notice when they're discussing stuff at the White House, there's classification level. And each classification level, there's things that the public can't know, right? Confidentiality is one of them. So when a thing is labeled top secret or confidential, it's different level of access, right? So Congress tells you in 15 U.S.C. 1681 that your information, your consumer report, is also confidential. The consumer reporting agencies are supposed to maintain a level of confidentiality, right? So confidentiality comes from the word confidential.
Gotcha.
We got to comprehend meanings and definitions of words. So when we know this, then if Congress is telling me that I have a right to privacy and my information should be confidential, what are you talking about, a public record? Let them go on the court document to find that. You are not furnishing that on my consumer report because when it comes to my consumer report, I have privacy, and I have a level of confidentiality that was given to me by Congress that put these laws in place. But when people don't know how to use the laws, anything gets furnished, and they don't know the things that they don't know, and the things that they don't know, the people who do know take advantage of the people that don't know.
Wow. So we want to be in the people that do know.
There we go.
So how do I get paid to get these inquiries off of my credit?
All right. So you remember earlier I spoke about 15 U.S.C. 1681 EE1 and EE2. And then we went over permissible purpose, given the permission. So now, permissible purpose, right? Written permission must be given, right? Because a consumer reporting agency can furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. B2 says no, with written instructions from the consumer to whom it relates.
Yes.
Now, when your inquiries, there's some inquiries that are legit and then there's some that are not. The key thing is proven permissible purpose. Okay. You're not saying you didn't do the inquiries. I am saying, where is the permissible purpose document that you should have if I made these inquiries? You're supposed to have it, yes?
Yes.
So where's the permissible purpose documentation that you have where I, Darraine Delevante, gave permission for this person, this corporation, this bank, whatever, to pull my report. That's all I'm asking.
So you just asked for it?
Yeah, where is it?
And you don't ask them to delete this?
That's a part of it too.
Okay.
Because the law says if they can't prove it, it must be deleted. If they can verify the information, it must be deleted.
Gotcha.
If the information is incomplete, it must be deleted. If it's inaccurate, it must be deleted. So if Congress gives us the words that we're supposed to use, I don't know why people and other credit repair business owners are using their own words. Why? Doesn't make sense. That's why they don't get results. And they're talking about credit bureaus. There is no credit bureau.
Yeah.
Congress never defined what a credit bureau is. Why are you making up your own words? It says consumer reporting agencies. So a lot of people, 95% of the time, don't get results is because they are addressing the wrong person.
Gotcha. Now, do I have to sue them to get
You
money?
can, and you can get paid as well, correct. That's how you get paid.
That's how you get paid, you have to sue them.
So your inquiry, back to your inquiry. So the certification, see if the certification isn't there, if the permissible purpose document isn't there, what is that?
Illegal. Identity theft.
Because someone knowingly possesses or use an identification of you without lawful authority and your permission.
Gotcha.
You see how it works?
Yeah.
That's using it the right way. So you're not saying you never did it. You are not lying. You never said you didn't do it. You're questioning the documents. Where is the document that gave the permissible purpose? Okay, was this document certified? Let me see the certification.
And then what? Pay me $1,000 if you can't
They
provide
can
it?
prove it. The law says under 15 USC 1681N, under civil liability, if someone pulls your information and they knowingly without a permissible purpose, you are owed actual damages or $1,000. You want to look it up?
I have damages.
You do?
So this is the thing, right? I have this one, I went to a virtual doctor during COVID.
A virtual doctor?
Like a virtual doctor visit. It
Oh, I'm like, what? I've never heard of that before. Continue.
like telemedicine? You never heard of telemedicine?
No,
Oh my
I
God.
must be living under a rock.
You living in a U.S. Congress code too
I'm
much.
saying, I've never heard that one before.
So yes, I had a teledoc appointment, and it was just like an initial appointment for me to see if this doctor could help me with my condition, and they couldn't. So I'm like, okay, cool, no harm, no foul. They sent me a $250 bill for this 30-minute phone call that I had for us to decide that you're not going to be my doctor. And I'm like, what? First of all, I have insurance. You need to bill them. Secondly, I didn't even authorize, I didn't authorize this. Why? You never told me that you were going to be billing me for this consultation. So I didn't pay it. Now to my credit.
When? This is very important. When did it show up?
When did it show up? Oh my gosh.
This is very
I don't
important.
know, because guess what? They've sold it. So it's
that
now.
That doesn't even matter.
It's it's not even the main company. It's not the doctor who's reporting it. It's some other company.
That's fine. After November 30th of 2021,
Okay.
there's a new Fair Debt Collection Practices Act that went in effect. And one of the sections is called the no parking rule. The no parking rule says if a collections company does not get in contact with the consumer to whom the alleged debt is related to, they cannot just put a debt or an alleged debt on any consumer's report. So if it's after November 30th, 2021, I don't care when, as long as it's after that. If it's after that, that is a violation, and you can sue that collections company on the no parking rule.
Yeah, so I can sue them under that. And on top of that, when I went to go apply for, I was refinancing my house, one of the banks told me I have a derogatory, only thing on my credit that's bad, and that's one of the factors in me not being able to get approved. So that's damages.
That is actual damages, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have that denial letter?
Oh, absolutely, because
Good.
my girlfriend told me about it. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get to this when I get to it. I don't know who to say, what to do, but I know I need to keep this paper.
Absolutely. That's
So
how you
now,
prove actual damages. So when you do a lawsuit, you can now actually use that. So let me ask you another question. Was it because of the factor of the collection that caused the denial?
yeah, so they have to list the reasons why you were denied the credit, and that was one of them.
Good.
Yes.
So now you can use that as proof, as evidence that this is what caused it. So now when you go to sue this collection company for violating the no parking rule, and well, I need to evaluate to see the other damages that's there and the other violations, but there's so many people don't know that they can get paid for having bad credit just by knowing consumer laws.
So you can get paid for having bad credit.
Correct.
Talk to me about that.
All right, so pull up 15 USC 1681N, N as in November.
Slow down now. Slow down. 15 USC
1681N.
1681N.
Should bring into civil liability.
Yes, civil liability for willful non-compliance.
Correct. Now, what does it say?
Any person who fails to
Person. What does person mean?
Person can mean
Click on
business.
the word person.
Okay.
So everybody understand what person means.
Person. The term person means any individual, partnership, corporation, trust, estate, cooperative, association, government or governmental subdivision or agency or other entity.
Good.
So
So
that
we
is a
know
person.
that all of them are included. So when you
Nobody.
see the word person, it doesn't necessarily mean that the law is speaking to the natural person. See, people think, people have a notion to think that every time someone says something, they're talking to them.
Yeah.
No, you need to know who they're talking to. And in this case, they're talking about the corporations.
Got it. So, any person who willfully fails to comply with any requirement imposed under this subchapter with respect to any consumer is liable to that consumer in an amount equal to the sum of 1A, any actual damages.
Which is what you suffered, actual damages.
Actual damages. So, any actual damages sustained by the consumer as a result of the failure or damages of not less than $100 and not more than $1,000, or in the case of liability of a natural person for obtaining a consumer report under false pretenses.
Remember where that came from? Getting your reports under false pretenses because they cannot prove permissible purpose. They knowingly transferred or possessed. And you see how they all
Under
tie in
identity
together
theft.
now?
Yeah.
So that's speaking now on identity theft. So
Right.
go ahead.
So in the case of liability of a natural person for obtaining a consumer report under false pretenses or knowingly without a permissible purpose, actual damages sustained by the customer as a result of the failure, or $1,000, whichever is greater. Now, how do I define actual damages? How do I calculate that?
So it's whatever you got denied for as a result of that action.
Don't play with me now.
I'm telling you, this is what the law says. So we know that a collections company cannot put a debt on your consumer report without first getting in contact with you. Now, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. So if they're going to say we did get in contact with you, they need to be able to prove it. Right?
So this the thing. That one company, they will call, and I know a little bit, right? So I know when they, if they're calling me and they say, hello, can I speak to Shaniqua about a personal business matter? I'm like, excuse me, who's calling? So I'm not, when I first pick up the phone, I'm not saying, hi, this is Shaniqua. So number one, you can't even, say that it was me that you got in touch with.
It's not what they know. They have to be able to prove it.
Exactly.
So if they said they got in contact with you, prove that you got it. What method did you use to contact the person to whom it was related to?
Right.
Prove that you did.
Got it.
Then prove that they received it. Because if they say we sent a letter, I don't know, mails get lost all the time. People steal people's mail. Prove that it was sent. Did you send it certified mail, green return receipt?
Interesting. Y'all, I'm over here reading. This is interesting now.
It's very interesting.
So this is, the way you nerd out on credit is how I am when it comes to tax law. Tax law is so interesting because you get into the nuances, and like you said, it's the subtle words. It's the words that make the biggest difference in
Absolutely.
Is this true or is this false?
Absolutely.
Can I prove this? or, you know, is there some case out there that supports my stance and will force the courts and the IRS to accept what I've provided, you know? So tax law and tax cases does the same thing for me. I get all nerdy.
It's dope stuff. Like, you have so much fun learning law. People think it's boring because they've only heard lawyers use a jargon. No, by any way, shape, or form, I'm not up here saying that I'm a lawyer. I'm not. But I'm telling you, I have some fun teaching other lawyers about teaching lawyers about consumer law.
I'm not a CPA. I have trained CPAs. I have accountants that have come to me for training and knowledge and, you know, all of that, because I'm the one that took the time to dig into it because I love it, you know, so clearly you love what you do. This week's episode is sponsored by ABCs for Rich Kids by 7-year-old author and entrepreneur Bryce Nicholas. Please tell us where we can find your book.
ABCsforRichKids.com.
Awesome. This book is so amazing, guys. It literally goes from A to Z with different financial terms for your little loved ones. Awesome. So we've got F is for future value, E is for evaluation, H is for air. Guys, if you do not have this book, the Amazon #1 bestseller, please go and grab it now at abcsforrichkids.com. So tell me, what has this business done for you in your life? Because I know you were in some kind of armed forces. Talk to us about where you were before you started diving deep into this space.
So I'm in the military, still am.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
reserve now, National Guard. And before that, I was active duty.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much for your support. So it's called active reserve. So you're a National Guard, but you're able to get an active duty orders. And I deployed, and in my deployment, at the time, I had a 504 credit score. So what happened was I started reading, I started studying. That whole year of my deployment, I read 140 books on credit, business, real estate, and different.
What are some books you recommend?
The first 2 books I recommend to anybody is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You need to comprehend that what they're telling you is fake, right? Your home is not an asset, and you need to step your streams of income up. And Napoleon Hill works on your self-development, your mind, because without this, nothing else works.
Absolutely.
So once you get in the right mind frame, Rich Dad, Poor Dad now will start teaching you how to multiply your income, how to keep it. Because taxes already is the biggest thief that's coming out of your income, somebody dipping into your pocket that wasn't on the clock with you. If that's not thievery, I don't know what is. And some people, I don't care, it's thievery. Someone that's never been there with you,
right?
Never been there with you. But before you get your own check, before you even get it, 30 to 35% is already gone. If that's not thief, I don't know what is.
Wow.
Taking something that's not yours.
Right. So you read 150 books in your 1-year deployment.
140, correct.
140. I haven't read.
I was averaging about
I haven't read
5 to
more
6
than 5 books this year.
So when you're over there, you get to isolate. There's too many distractions here.
Yeah.
There's kids, dogs. I gotta go see cousin, auntie, grandma. There's too many distractions there. Over there, I was able to lock in. I only reported to duty. Apart from that, no one sees me. I'm in my room reading. And a lot of people, they are not willing to make the sacrifice. See, they want to be rich. They want to be wealthy. They want to have great credit. But you're not in the university. You're not learning the stuff, but you still want it. You cannot have the things that you didn't plant the seed for. To take somebody else's stuff is thief. So you want peaches, you want grapes, but you didn't spend the time to plant the seeds for those to grow. But I see you now with your peach, your grape, and all of this stuff, but now I feel entitled that I'm supposed to get your stuff for free. When you was bending over there, digging the soil, planting the seeds, watering it, fertilizing the ground, cultivating everything, they were doing what they were doing.
Right.
But now that your harvest is here, you're seeing farmers that was not in the trenches with you. Is it right now for you to pick your fruits and give it to them?
It's actually damaging to just give people food.
Because when you give a man a fish, he only eats for the day.
Right.
But when you teach a man how to fish, he eats for the rest of his life. So I don't believe in giving people fishes. I will help you. I will give free stuff. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's enough for you to take action.
Right.
I will not take the action for you because you are responsible for your own success.
Yeah. There's a statistic that like 80% of the online courses never get even opened.
That's true. There's no accountability.
Yep.
And if you cannot be accountable to yourself, you leave it. And then there's a thing called the shiny penny syndrome. Some people, you're probably hearing it for the first time, but you will know the actions behind it, where you see one thing, ooh, that looks great, I'm gonna run over here. Then you see another thing, before you finish this one, I'm gonna run over here. Then I'm gonna see another thing, ooh, I'm gonna run over here because this is gonna work. So
I've been guilty.
it's called the shiny penny syndrome.
Listen, I got all these rich friends and stuff. Like, I be like, oh, I need to do that. Let me try that out.
But we need to,
But you
you'll
have to
get
lock
different
in.
things. You'll
You know,
get different things.
You were telling us about your story where you went through that period of lock-in.
It's the best period of my
You
life.
have to, whether it's forced or whether you force yourself, you know, they say that separation and isolation comes before, I done messed the bar up. I done messed the bar up.
Let me see if I
Oh,
can
they
fix
say separation comes before elevation, right? So you have to separate yourself and isolate and, you know, do the personal development, the self-development. And I mean, you were even, it sounds like, you know, studying for a law degree, pretty much. You know, you probably can go and take the bar.
Probably could.
And, you know, and then, like you said, then the harvest comes.
But people are not willing to do the work.
Yeah.
I want it, and I want it now.
So you had a 5, what credit score?
504. And
How did you end up?
In 6 months, I
How
had
did
an
you end
805.
up with a 5? Okay, so you went from a 5.
I didn't know anything about credit.
You went from a what?
So prior to my deployment, I didn't know about credit.
Okay.
I didn't know anything. I was just doing me. Cash is king. Let me take my money at the bank. Stuff like that. No, I'm not telling anybody to put their money in the bank. The bank is actually the next biggest fraud ever created, because an entity is going to take your hard-earned money, give you 0.001% on it, but then they take your funds, lend it out at 6, 7, 10, 15, and 28%, and you get none of that. If that's not thievery again, I don't know what is. But hey, you know, so back to that part. So
You had a 5?
I had a 504 credit score, and I was getting denied for everything, or I needed to find a co-signer.
How did you get up to a 504 credit score?
Well,
What kind of stuff did you have going on your
I
credit?
didn't know. I don't know.
Oh, you just
It was just there.
You never even looked at your
Nope,
credit.
I didn't know how to check it. I didn't know nothing. Remember, I am not American. I came from Jamaica. This whole credit stuff y'all have over here, we don't have it over there. Over there, you either have your money or you don't.
Right.
There's no middle class in Jamaica. It's you got your money or you don't.
Yeah.
There is no middle class, right? So coming over here and learning all of this now, this credit stuff, you can't do this because of credit. I got upset. So I used my deployment as an opportunity to change my circumstances. But I know to whom much is given, much is required. You need, like the law of reciprocity, you cannot have something for nothing. Like it must be a balanced scale. But people just want, and they don't want to give anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can either give your time or your money. But in order to get something in return, you need to give. It's the law of
Unfair
reciprocity.
exchange.
Exactly. It's a law of reciprocity. So now I had an idea of what I wanted. I didn't know how to get it yet. So I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. That led to Think and Grow Rich. Then it led to all of Robert Kiyosaki's book, like all of them. I've read all of them. Tom Wheelwright, all of them. What's the lawyer's name? Garrett Sutton, all of them. Kim Kiyosaki, right? Then he led me to Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone. Then I'm on Jim Rohn. Then I'm on Les Brown, Miles Monroe. Then I'm on The Richest Man in Babylon, The Greatest Networker in the World, The Greatest Salesman in the World, The Greatest Salesman Part 1, Part 2. Like all of these books now I started reading. And what happened is I started creating a different person. I started creating the person you see today. This person wasn't there. This person has been created because of intention. See, before intention, there's disruption. The disruption was I isolated. I spent the time to develop this. I spent thousands. My library right now is about $40,000 to $50,000 worth of books. What, Daraine, why would you buy so many books? Because in order for me to know more, produce more, and to do more than everybody else, I got to know more than all my competition. There's not a lot of people that can scale 2 companies to $1 million in sales in like 11 months. But what people fail to comprehend is that books are summaries of other people's lives that's been down the road before. Mentorship, coaches, these people are the shortcut to success. Last week, I spent $40,000 to join a mentorship. 3 weeks before that, I spent $30,000 to join another one. 4 months before that, I joined another one for $45,000. Before that, I joined one for $6,000. Before that, I joined one for $5,000. I can't remember all the numbers.
So this is over $250,000 you done invested in your personal development.
Yeah, but this has made me so much more.
Right.
This is my own clothing line. I just dropped this.
You do
I have
so much branding.
6 companies.
Wow.
Everything came from credit.
You be going crazy. I love it.
But it goes back to the velocity of money.
Right. Oh, let's get into velocity of money. But first, tell me this. I've never had 800 credit score. I've always had good credit.
That's the easiest thing to do.
I've never really wanted 800 because my thing is like, my mom is the person. She's like, oh no, I got to keep my stuff paid off and I need my 800.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
not
well,
good.
what's the point of having credit if you're not going to use it?
You have to use it.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's a velocity of money. It gives you leverage. It allows you to bring more money into your sphere of understanding. And once you can learn how to use and do with more, then you'll be blessed with an abundant amount.
Correct.
So people that are fearful of credit, I think will be very hard for them to build wealth.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the velocity of money. That's a good concept I never really heard of.
What you can do with credit, you cannot do with cash. So let me rewind that because some people might take that the wrong way. For a lot of people, it's going to take them years to save up $25,000. You can get approved in less than a minute for a $25,000 credit card, and you liquidate the credit card, turning credit into cash. So when we talk about the ability to use credit to create wealth, it is significantly more than you going to a 9-to-5 job, waiting every 2 weeks to get a paycheck, and then using that 10% from that paycheck because 35 came out for tax, then you got to live off probably 20% because rent, car payment, kids need to get food, the dogs need to get food, and then you need clothes, you need all of that stuff, right? So by the time you get it, 85 is gone already. 85 is gone off the rip. So now you got like 15%, I need to put 7% in savings, and then 7% now to save for vacation. Well, shit, how are you going to survive off that?
Let me tell you, I was there before, and it's not fun when you are in the beginning stages and your 7% look like $7 and then $14 and then $21. But I do think eventually you get the habit and you form a habit of becoming a saver and a budgeter so that...
Savers are losers.
Savers are definitely losers. So I wasn't just saving to save. I was always saving to invest.
For a purpose.
Absolutely. I was always saving to invest. But I think it's important for, people got to get started at their level.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Listen, y'all, he gave me a whole coaching session beforehand about how I need to be better and all the things. And you know, you gotta go now, you gotta go fast, you gotta sacrifice 5 years to be successful. But I ain't gonna let him do that to y'all. So let's get back to the velocity of money. So you can go out here, literally create. I think maybe in the last week or so, created a new business and went out, like you said, duplicated myself, PG'd on the business and got $50,000 in credit cards. Now, what's
How
the
long
next?
do you think it's gonna take other people to
Somebody
save up
save 50,000.
to save 50,000?
The average person, like we started off this podcast saying, is average person doesn't even have $600 to cover an emergency expense.
Much less to save 50,000.
Much less saving 50,000.
That's the power of credit.
And then the purpose is that you take that money and invest it in assets, right? You don't want to just get $50,000 and buy designer.
Exactly. Don't make no sense.
Gotcha. So you get this $50,000, and how do you increase the velocity of it, right? Velocity is all about keeping it moving.
How does that 50,000 now create more money? Have that work for you. So whether you're going to invest in Airbnb, Turo, you're going to buy rental properties, or you're going to buy another business that's already cash flowing, or you're going to go buy a laundromat, I don't know. But it needs to produce.
Gotcha.
If it doesn't produce, it's dead. It's still.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything, which is the same as not having it at all.
Right.
If it's not doing anything, it needs to do something, because if it's not paying for itself, somebody got to pay for it. So that money's coming out of your pocket. So why not have it pay for itself?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think, people have this old school mentality when it comes to savings and credit.
You said it. Old school.
Old school.
It's not old school anymore.
We're in a new school, baby, and you have to learn how to take money and put velocity behind it.
Absolutely.
So that it is moving and it is working for you. And that's really the only way that you're going to dig yourself out of your 9-to-5, out of whatever trap you're currently in. So I 100% wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I wanted to ask you, I don't know, I lost it. But tell us about some of your mentees, maybe some of the successes that people are seeing in your program. Because, it sounds like a lot, right? It sounds like a lot.
Much is given, much is required. Can't want peaches and you're going to plant a plum tree. You're not going to get peaches. So if you want results, if you want action, if you want actionable steps, it comes through intention. And the intention is, what is the most accurate, safest, and legal way to completely clean the whole credit? Well, shit. Congress made a whole bunch of laws to do it. Why not use their own law? What are they going to say? The laws are lying?
Right.
They wrote it.
Tell me this. What is the secret? I've had a 700 plus credit score my whole life, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Since maybe 20 years old. I went through my down periods where maybe, it might have dropped to 680, right? But what is the secret to an 800 credit score? I have not cracked the code yet.
So it's not really a secret. It's just manipulating the data.
Okay.
And when I say manipulating the data, is the credit score is not a part of the consumer report. It's an independent item made by the Vantage or FICO, which is Fair Isaacs Corporation. They have an algorithm that uses your information on your consumer report to spit out what you call a credit score. It's actually a risk score from 300 to 850. So between that part, there's 550 points. And they're on the FICO, not your credit reports. Your FICO side of the house, there's 5 main factors: payment history, utilization, length of credit history, new credit, and the mixture of credit. 5 factors. Each sector has a certain amount of points that's attributed to it. Now, within these 5, there's subsections, right? So like payment history, it is 35%, which makes up 192.5 points. The next section is utilization, 30%. It makes up about 165 points. And then now you have length of credit history, which is about think it's 85. I don't remember. But then you have the new credit and the mixture, which is 10% and 10%, which equates to about 55 points each. All together gives you a total of 550 points because it ranges from 300 to 850. But a lot of people don't know that the biggest two factors, payment history and utilization, that 35% and that 30%, which makes up the biggest part of your credit report. What if I told people that those sections are actually illegal and that part doesn't even belong on your consumer report? I want you to do some math for me. I want you to add together 192.5 plus 165.
357.5.
That's the amount of points people lose not knowing consumer law. See, there's no such thing as a late payment. Late payment does not exist on your consumer report because Congress excluded your transaction. Your experience, which is your utilization, is also excused. Both transaction and experience are in the same section of the law. There is no such thing as a late payment on your credit report, and there's no such thing as high utilization on your credit report. Doesn't exist. So if you know that these things don't exist, why not have an 800 credit score? But you don't know the things you don't know.
So can you get rid of utilization without paying for it?
No, you're going to pay it.
Okay.
But when it comes to the credit, you have the ability to delete it from your credit.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's not that a lot of people think because you delete something off your credit, you don't owe it or have the alleged debt. That's not true.
Right.
It means if I don't want it there, there is no law that
reason.
Exactly. There is absolutely no law that says anything have to get reported on your credit. But earlier we read the law that says you can opt out of having any information reported. So the one,
I like that. So there are some business credit cards out there that are reporting to my personal credit, right?
And you let them.
And because I let them, because I ain't know consumer law before. We just talked about it. I know you've been doing all this stuff, but I be doing all my stuff too, and I be busy. I don't be,
It happens.
But I might have to do whatever. I don't know if I need to have my VA come into your course and learn credit repair and do my credit, but we need to figure something out.
Well, you're in taxes. I would highly recommend you have a business like that. Why? Because now you don't have to do it.
Talk to me about
But you need to have a system in place that does, because you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
There's 395 million people in America.
Yeah.
You imagine
you said just
all of
shiny
them,
penny?
Yeah, but I'm saying you don't have to do it.
Okay.
Appoint someone in your company to take this role.
I've done credit repair before. I personally prefer, I like to help people that have too much money problems.
You're not doing credit repair. You're a financial educator. You have a university that teaches people how to repair, rebuild, and restore their own credit. Quite a difference.
That is true.
Words. But earlier I told you that let me prove that late payment is illegal and it doesn't exist. Okay. And also I have 2 free ebooks to give your whole nation.
Ooh, let's talk about it.
All right, so I want you to look up one more time for me.
Yeah.
15 USC 1681.
15 USC
1681.
1681A.
It should bring you to definitions, rules of construct.
Yes.
Good. Go down to number 2.
All right. Exclusions?
Correct. What does it mean to exclude something?
That it's not included.
Good. Now that we got that clear, continue.
All right. Except as provided in paragraph 3, the term consumer report does not include.
Does what?
Does not include.
Does what? Say it for the people in the back.
Does not include.
Okay, continue.
Any report containing information solely as to transactions or experiences.
Hold up.
So it
Hold up,
does
hold up, hold
not
up, hold up, hold up.
include any report containing solely as to transactions or experiences between the consumer and the person making the report.
What does person mean?
Person means company, organization, partnership.
Good.
Y'all, I'm learning.
Good. So if the consumer is the individual
Yes,
and the person is the corporation,
the bank.
the transaction between the consumer and the person making the report is excluded from your credit report.
So why is it there?
Where does the late payment come from?
Why do even the good payments there? Why are even the good payments there if
It's there if you want it to be, but what I'm letting you know is you have the power.
Gotcha.
People don't you have the power to put items on your credit or to take it off if you don't want it. There is absolutely no law that says anything has to be or shall or must be reported. The law doesn't say that.
I feel powerful now.
Take your power back.
Yes.
That's it. Take your power back using consumer laws. That's why I teach what I teach, and that is why the university is so important.
Yes. So, before I let you go, number one, thank you so much. This was so much information. I do want people to understand what kind of level of success that you've had, right? So you went from a 500 to an 800 credit score, perfect credit score in under a year, and then in 6 months,
Then build it up
then you left out of the, you came home from your reserve contract deployment. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you've been able to do.
So last year, this time, I got told that I was being let go because the government had overspent on the COVID budget and they cannot continue my orders, right? Now, being active for 6 years, what am I supposed to do? Sorry, we don't know. I had to figure it out. And it was $6,000 a month. It was, for a lot of people, that's great, right? I thought that was amazing too. And then that $6,000 a month was just gone. But we can find 21 trillion to send to Ukraine, but let me not go there. Daraine gonna go there. Don't go there, right? So it came to a situation where I had to think and I had to make a decision. Damn, these people really just pulled the whole carpet from underneath me. What am I going to do now? I could have ran to find another job, but let me tell you how God is good. A week before that, I was on Myron Golden's Make More Offers Challenge, and Myron said to me, Daraine, you need to make more offers, and the offer you don't make is the offer they can't take. Those words, just 2 sentences, or one if you want to join them together. That statement created a new me, that shift from that 9 to 5, being that corporate. Oh, when I get promoted, I'm going to become sergeant, then sergeant first class, then staff sergeant, sergeant first class, go to master sergeant, go to first sergeant. Yeah, I was taking the pill. I was taking the pill, climbing up the corporate ladder. And then, see, the year in my deployment, I made like probably $85,000 or $90,000, right?
Ain't pay no taxes on it.
No taxes on it, right? Now, they fired me, right? So October 1st is my official holiday. That's when I became the full-time entrepreneur, right? So they fired me, telling me that they overspent, which was BS, but whatever. And I was forced into entrepreneurship. It has to work or it has to work. There was no other choice. So that first month of being unemployed, I made $97,000.
What?
What I made in a year deployed, I made in my first month.
How?
Listening to Myron, getting coaching. I had like $5,000 in savings, and I decided to invest it all in developing this because I was in the process of forming my businesses and stuff. And That was the push I needed. The shortcut to success is mentorship. Find the person that's doing the thing that you want to learn how to do, then pay that person to teach you how to do the thing so other people can pay you to do that same thing.
Right.
Anyway, now I realized that this needed to happen. So I made the jump. Remember earlier I told you, done is better than perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
97,000.
Yep, first month.
How you do that?
First month, I made more offers. I was not making enough offers. So now I did 5 to 10 times more the amount of offers I would make. So if you're making 10 offers a week, make 100 offers a week.
And what does that mean for the people that don't really understand that concept?
You got a course. How many people is seeing your offer? How many people are you telling that I, Darraine Delevante, teach you how to repair, rebuild, and restore your own credit?
Gotcha.
What am I doing here? This is me making my offer.
Right.
Everybody that's in your audience, no, I'm letting you know, if you want to take your power back, if you want to learn how to get paid for bad credit, if you want to learn how to start your credit repair business, if you want to learn how to scale your credit repair business that you already have to an extra $50,000 to $100,000 potentially per year, then guess what? Find the person that's doing the thing that you want to learn how to do and pay that person to teach you how to do it.
Wow.
It's a simple formula, but it took me getting fired to grasp the idea. So instead of making 5 offers per week, I was making 500. I'm going live every day. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm in rooms. I'm on Instagram, going live. I'm sending DMs. I'm going to events. I am making more offers. So now the more people that knows about me, the more people I can help. The more people I can help, the more my income goes up.
I love it.
Serve more, help more, solve more people's problem, you'll get compensated. Why do you think Jeff Bezos is so extremely well? He solved people's problem. Yeah. The problem of, I don't need to leave my home, I can have the stuff delivered in 2 days. Now, if a company finds a way to deliver the stuff in 2 hours, they will put Amazon out of business. Right. It's about people want things fast.
Yeah.
But it doesn't apply to all circumstances.
Yeah.
But
wow.
that's the play.
Yeah, I tell my son all the time, he's 7 years old and he's learning about money. He's got his book. He makes a little money. I let him buy his own things. He has a
get this book
card
for him. Rich Kids, Poor Kids.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Robert Kiyosaki read it. Yeah, it's for kids.
Oh, I gotta get that for sure.
Rich Kid, Poor Kid.
I never even heard of it. So we wrote a book called ABCs for Rich Kids.
I remember, I have it.
Yes.
My son reads it.
Yes, and I teach him about money. But what I mostly teach him about money is the person that makes the most money helps the most people.
Helps the most people.
That's like the number one.
Say it again
thing.
For the people in the back, because they're not listening.
The person that makes the most money helps the most people. And I teach this to my 7-year-old, because I want him to understand in his mind at a young age that money is not earned, it's created. And it's created through the actions and the help that you do and the problems that you solve for other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolute facts.
Awesome. So I know that you are the credit hero out here saving lives, one credit report at a time. So I think you said you had something free to give away.
So there's a few things. So guys, listen, I'm having a challenge October 3rd to October 7th, where I'm going to teach you guys how to delete absolutely every account you can think of. Give me some negative accounts that you've known about or you've heard about on a credit report.
Bankruptcies, student loans, charge-offs, repossessions. What else is negative?
Collections, late payments, high utilizations. So I'll be teaching in 5 days. You're going to have an opportunity to be coached by me, right? And I'll be teaching you how to delete every single negative account from your credit. It doesn't matter what it is. Timeshares, all of that stuff. I'm going to teach you evictions. I'm going to teach you guys how to delete every single negative or derogatory item on your credit. And for your audience, I am launching 100 seats for free for general admission. 100 seats free. The link will be in my Instagram bio, if you go on DarraineDelevante.com. So on Instagram, it's at THE_credit_hero. So the_credit_hero. So I'm going to open up 100 seats.
Okay.
So your audience can get in to general admission and they'll be able to get some information.
Yes.
The next thing is 2 free ebooks. I have made a package that I call the Remedy Kit. So basically it has my first ebook. It is Do for Self, the Educated Consumer's Guide to Repairing Your Own Credit, right? So it's a book that's going to teach you how to repair your own credit, and it has letters built into it. And the other thing you had an issue is what was inquiries. So in that same package, I have my Do for Self, the 24-hour express guide to deleting your own inquiries in there. So people will learn now how to get their inquiries deleted in 24 to 48 hours, right? So I have those 2 packages, and all you got to do is text me, like send me a text message. The word remedy, R-E-M-E-D-Y. This is very important because if you mess it up, you won't get it. So R-E-M-E-D-Y. So text the word remedy to 917-810-3329. That's it. Text the word remedy to 917-810-3329. You will get the Remedy Kit. It's going to ask for you to add me as a contact. Add your favorite credit hero as a contact. And then the link is going to come up. You download your ebooks. I want you to go be great. It is free.
Awesome.
2
I
ebooks.
love that. Well, thank you so much for the 100 seats. Y'all, don't embarrass me. Make sure we get them seats filled up, all right? And if you can't use the information, share it with somebody in your family. Yes,
Absolutely.
share it with somebody else that might be in credit repair business. They might have bad credit. They might be young, just starting off and trying to figure out credit. So share that information with somebody you love, so that they can be on to this next phase of their life, having 800 credit like the credit hero. I don't have 800 credit, but we're going to figure that out. But that's it. That's it for this week, guys. I hope that you learned something. I appreciate you so much for joining us for another episode. And make sure you check out the_credit_hero
Yes.
on Instagram so that you can lock in your seat for this free masterclass. And if you missed the October one, don't worry. This king is always working. He said he got a good 5 years in him. So make sure you tap in the future as well. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace.
Let's go.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Black Wealth Weekly. I'm your host, Shaniqua Nicole, and I hope to see you next week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on them notifications, and head to blackwealthweekly.com where you can read all the new episodes of These Entrepreneurs and so many others.